Kansas City Chiefs have been adamant about a three-peat. Look at that guy there. Well, that's Hollywood. He's taken that Hollywood sign right to Kansas City. They were looking to fill a few holes, and they were able to add some speed and talent to their offense, signing Hollywood Brown. As we told you, new on NFL Live, Brown spoke moments ago about why he decided to join the Chiefs.
When the Chiefs are interested in you, it's like, all right, you gotta take a look at that. I mean, of course, I can go get, some money, at other places, but at the end of the day, it's about winning. It's about, what I want, and I feel like everything just worked out, the way it should. I'm happy with the decision.
Well, Brown should give Patrick Mahomes some wide receiver depth to go along with Rashee Rice. Mahomes was locked in throwing to Rice last season, completing 77% of his targets to the rookie with 6 touchdowns. Got better as the season went along, but that dropped to 57%, throwing to all other wideouts with more interceptions than touchdowns. Certainly a topic of conversation for us, talking about how he needed some help. And Mina, what do you think about the fit of Brown, specifically in this Chiefs offense?
I absolutely love this for Kansas City. You mentioned that Rashee Rice really broke out for Patrick Mahomes, the #1 wide receiver. Hollywood Brown on the field, stretching the field, forcing defenses to go back to playing those too high shells that Mahomes used to face all the time with Tyreek Hill. That'll just create more opportunities for Rice to get yards after the catch, which was his specialty. I think this is a low risk, super high upside move for Kansas City, and it gives them some flexibility in the draft. There's less pressure to take a receiver with that pick 32. Maybe you go cornerback. We'll see what happens with L'Jarius Sneed, who Adam's going to talk about. But you have a reliable veteran receiver, a true deep threat. Just makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, perfect tee up there for L'Jarius Sneed. Obviously, they needed to pay Chris Jones. We knew that would be a focus, but that means L'Jarius Sneed was franchise tagged by Kansas City earlier this offseason. What is the latest, Adam, on his situation?
Well, Laura, it's a situation where basically the Chiefs now have gone through almost a full week, and nobody has gotten a deal done with L'Jarius Sneed. And the Chiefs are prepared, if they have to move forward with L'Jarius Sneed playing on a 1-year deal. That's not what he would want to do. He would like to land a contract that conceivably could make him the highest paid cornerback in all of football. He's played himself into that position. But so far, there has not been a team out there that's willing to both satisfy the Chiefs with the proper compensation and L'Jarius Sneed. Now, getting a contract done with Sneed seems to be the easiest part, and there seems to be consensus that he would become the highest paid cornerback in the league. But there has to be a team that makes an offer compelling enough to Kansas City to make the Chiefs want to trade him. And right now, that hasn't happened. There have been people that speculated the Colts and Chiefs could be closing in. My understanding from both sides is the two sides haven't even spoken. So the Colts and L'Jarius Sneed don't seem to be an option at this time. Never know if something could come up later. But to date, the two sides haven't spoken, and we wait to see if there's a team, any team, that steps up to meet the Chiefs' price and Sneed's price together.
The Jets, who are desperately doing what they can to set up Aaron Rodgers for more success next season, they added Tyron Smith to their offensive line in a concerted effort to strengthen protection in front of Rodgers when we should finally get to see him really play. Now, the Jets also signed guard John Simpson and traded for right tackle Morgan Moses to go along with Tyron Smith. They'll have 3 new starters on that offensive line that was 30th in the NFL in pass block win rate last season. Zach Wilson really was the guy who dealt with the brunt of that. But Adam, what more can you tell us about how the Jets went about addressing their offensive line?
Laura, this has been the focus of this team going into the offseason. It was no secret they had to upgrade the offensive line and upgrade it dramatically, particularly with Aaron Rodgers coming back off the torn Achilles. And so they went out and they addressed it right away. John Simpson in free agency to play the left guard position. They go and trade for Morgan Moses, who was on the Jets roster before and who the team really wanted back. And they swapped some picks and got him back. And then they get Tyron Smith to play left tackle. They bring back Elijah Vera-Tucker, who they're hoping is healthy next season. Their former second-round pick, Joe Tippmann at center. Now they've got what they believe are to be 5 quality starters to place in front of Aaron Rodgers. And now we go into the draft, and if there's another offensive lineman, they always could add more depth by signing Tyron Smith. It now gives them a little bit of added flexibility in the draft, they're not locked into taking an offensive tackle. Maybe they look at a wide receiver. Maybe they look at another position. But they don't have to come out of the first round with another offensive lineman with all these moves.
Yeah, depth at O-line, especially with an older quarterback, can always help. You know, what do you think of the Jets' plan for their offensive line so far?
I mean, that offensive line you saw there, that's a really good offensive line. Like, we talk a lot about protecting Aaron Rodgers. Something that occurs to me looking at that group is how happy Breece Hall should be, because he had terrible run blocking last year. And you want to talk about those Ravens players that they got did a fantastic job run blocking. Simpson was particularly a revelation for me last year. But, and there is a but, you know, I said that group is excellent if they're healthy. Right? Tyron Smith has suffered through injuries quite a bit over the course of his career. Played a fair amount last year. To Adam's point, I do think it would be wise for New York to continue augmenting this line, especially with Whip Smith on a one-year deal in the draft, especially given how many talented offensive tackles there are. Even if that tackle they draft doesn't start year one, it would be wise for them to continue adding in a group that has been such an issue for them in the past.
No question about it. Look, I mean, Tyron Smith is going to be great for the Jets when he's on the field. The question is, how many times will he be on the field? 2015 is the last year in which Tyron Smith played a full season without missing any games due to injury. That is a long time ago. Now, the question is, what kind of year is this at age 33? Because he's had years where he's played 13 games, and he's had years where he's played 2 games or 4 games. If he misses significant time, they need to have a great backup plan. If he's going to miss 2 or 3 games, I think they can weather that, and the high-end production they'll get from him while he's on the field is certainly worth it. Look, it's a bit of a high wire act with a couple of 33-year-old tackles, but they're good. And let's face it, everything the Jets are doing right now is a high wire act around 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers trying to win as quickly as possible before, you know, everybody goes their own separate ways.